Learn about graph descriptions.
All right, so today we will take a look at Unit 3, Lesson 4. The objective of today's class is to write about data or statistics using adverbs. Like slightly grammatically, just basically describing a graph. So let's get started. Okay, first thing first, why do you need to use charts, graphs, and diagrams? A lot of presentations are focused on data and numbers. I know it sounds boring, but a part of from essential business presentation, charts, graphs, and diagrams, the context of today, as I said, is to help you draw and keep the attention of your listener by presenting these information, and you will have these data as a profound evidence-based work. Okay, so when it comes to presenting and explaining data charts or graphs and diagrams, you should help people understand and memorize at least the main point from your topic. Okay. As to the use cases, diagrams and other visuals perfectly fits for describing trends, making comparison, or sometimes if it's a controversial type of topic, maybe a survey. You can show also a relationship between two or more items. In other words, you take your data and give it a visual, comprehensible form when it comes to today's lesson. There's four main types of graphs: the bar chart, the line graph, the pie chart, and the diagram. Okay. The bar graph is, as you can see right here, is used to show relationships between different data series that are somehow independent when it comes to each one of them. But in this case, they all measure, for example, the literacy for the books, printed novels. We're talking about the paper version of a book. So, the basics of any graph, as you can tell, is the horizontal axis right here, which is the y-axis, and the vertical axis here. And then each of these shows, each of these bars, they show a particular defined, for example, age, year, or it could be any information, but it's really specific for a specific category. The next one is, for sure you know it, is the line graph. It represents the change over time, but that's not typically always the case. So it's useful when you want to demonstrate some trends or numbers that they are connected. Okay. The pie chart, on the other hand, are designed to visualize how a whole, okay, is divided into various parts. So each is like a pizza slice, right? So each segment of that pie is a particular category within the total set. So in this way, it represents a percentage distribution when it's a pie chart. A diagram is more visual, it has more colors. It's different because it depends on the data itself. It's not like the other type of data visuals. So it could be a drawing, it could be an outline created, it could be, you know, circles with each other, and then there's an intersection between them to connect some points. So it is different than all the others. There's always pictures when it comes to diagrams or a plan. Now, you can see that any graph you've got have a title. So for this one in front of you, have the percentage of people by age group in 2010 who read printed novels, between two brackets, at least one per year. Okay, so the title itself says a lot about what we visualizing, or what is the data presented in front of us, right? So after that, you can check that yes, they have different colors. You see that the ages, they also specify them and they categorize them into specific age groups. Okay, 0 to 12, 13 to 24, 25 to 39, and the maximum is 84, which is the life expectancy of humans. Okay, now we will look at this article, and it's just the introduction. Speaking of the introduction, the question here is how to begin a description. Once you have created a graph using, for example, Excel, or you have a graph from like some data analysis website or whatever the case for you, it's time to know how to describe that graph or chart or diagram. So first we need to catch the audience attention from the very beginning. Okay, so you can use some of the following phrases right here, but I also say, for example, let me at the very beginning, let me show you this bar graph, or let me I'd like you to look at this pie chart, or if you look at this graph, you will notice that blah blah blah, and you say your point. Or you can say, let's have a look at this pie chart, or you can say, to illustrate my point, let's look at some charts, right? So the next point is how to describe diagrams and other visuals. Right here is to describe diagrams or any other type of graphs as clearly as possible. You should name each visual element. So for example, to describe diagrams or any other type of graphs as clearly as possible, you should name each visual element. So, for example, before I jump to that point, you can say that at the introduction, you can say, the graph or table gives information about, and then you paraphrase the title, or you say the title in a different way. You can say the title as it is, but the more skilled you are when it comes to paraphrasing, the stronger your English sounds, right? So we have illustrates, explains why, describes, draw the conclusion of, and so on. Okay. All right, so how to describe a bar graph? The bar graph transforms the data into separate bars or columns. Generally speaking, this type of visual have categories, as we said. So on the x-axis, and then you will see that there is numbers, and then the y-axis represents something else. Like we said, here is the age group, and here we have the percentage. The higher percentage is 100%, right? So you can also compare information or the data between different groups of people, and you can also compare them by, different, like here we have different years. You can start by year, like you can go 2018. Okay, so you can start describing 2018 as a general, and then 2010, or you can do the opposite, 2010 and then 2018. You can also do that by basically go by each group or the extremes, right? You can go from 0 to 12 in 2010 versus in 2018. Or the 84 plus, which are all the seniors. Here we have the 2010 versus 2018. So each group should be independent, so that the changes in one do not influence the other when it comes to that bar graph. It could be written this way or the other way, it doesn't matter. It could be like the other way around. Okay. The words used to describe bar chart are pretty similar to one used for the line chart and all the other charts. So let's check here what we've got, which is this article example. Here it says, read the short article according to the data. Is the information in the article correct? So you need to look at the data in front of you, and then make sure that the person who's, like the writer, described the data correctly. So it says at the beginning, it is clear that printed and paper books are probably going to disappear. With the rise of the internet and the introduction of the electronic book, we can see the slow decline of paper novels. Okay, so that was just the introduction, just to understand the point that the person's trying to showcase, and the proof of that is the chart, or the bar chart in this case. So from 2010 to 2018 there was a decrease. So those words describes the type of data that we want to go across. across all age groups. So if you compare the orange, which is 2010, versus the 2018, overall, they're less than 2010. Now, after that, the writer just wants to be more specific. So this is an argumental type of writing. You go general and then you specify, you give like more details and more examples. So you use the linking word in particular to be specific. The number of children aged 0 to 12 who read paper books decreased significantly. So decreased significantly. Pay attention to the adjectives that describes these data. And then the decrease was even larger for the 13 to 24. So you see, it's a huge difference between them if you go like that. Interestingly, the smallest decrease was in the 55 to 69 group. So 55 to 69 group. Okay, so this one was the smallest decrease if you compare both of the years. So now let's compare some of the information that we can see here. A rise of price, a growth of whatever the case of sales, and so on. And then you can say a fall in, a decrease in, a decline in, a dip in. So if it's going downwards, okay, it was going like gradually down, or there is the next data shows that it's less than what you are talking about, like the other data that you're talking about at the beginning. So a fall in prices, a decrease in, a decline, they're all represented the same thing. So a decline, a dip, a decrease, a fall. So if there is a fluctuation, so it goes up and down, we say a fluctuation of. If there is a case as well, we can say another word is a variation in. So there's a difference when it comes to a huge difference, like going up and down, up and down, up and down, when it comes to the data that you want to present. The verbs that you will use when you want to talk about data and the description of these data is to rise, to increase, to surge, to grow, okay, to peak. Okay. If there's a large recess, so it's a huge change going on, so you can say to rocket. It means it's going like from like a short number to a huge number. To leap, for example, and then those describe the decrease, the decline, the dip, the fall. Again, to dive, to plunge as well. It goes with the fall. This is just the verbs we're talking about. Large falls, if they're like going to really like 0, you know, or close to that, whatever, compared to the other data. I'm just giving 0 as an example. To plummet, to fluctuate, to vary. Okay, so the adverbs for your assignments are really important. Sharply, so there's a sharp change. Suddenly, okay, sudden change. Rapidly, fast, right? Abruptly, it was like some unexpected change. Dramatically, right? A lot, right? Significantly, okay. Considerably, both of them here, they mean the same thing. Markedly, something could be like really specific. And wildly, if you want to go abroad, like very wild in general. So also you've got slightly, if it's a little bit, gently, a little bit, gradually, also like it's by, you know, step by step. Steadily, if it's like really sharp as well. Steadily, it's like a modesty is like as well the same thing. Marginally, it's going down or going up gradually. Okay, so step by step as well. Also, when we're talking about adjectives, we have sharp, sudden, rapid. Again, we are talking about the same thing, the same words, but this time they are adjectives. So they describe nouns. Rapid, then there's a noun after that. Abrupt, noun. Dramatic, noun. Steep, significant, considerable, and all of these again and again. So this is in case that there's noun and you want to describe the noun. So slight, gentle, gradual, steady, consistent, modest, and marginal. So those are just useful phrases like a small fraction, a small number, a small minority. There's like a small group, a large portion, or a significant majority, a large group. Okay. So you can use the percentage as it is. You can say more than a half if it's like over a half, over a quarter, but I prefer to be really specific, okay? Not general when it comes to describing data. Okay, now let's go back to the exercise. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 expressions. So go up quickly, go down, stay the same, go up, go down quickly. Okay. The first sentence says the number of users rocketed from 1,000 to 20 million in just 3 weeks. Okay, so drop, fall, down, bring down, went down. Okay. It says here, if you have to hire people, these are some of the qualities you might look for. You have ability to work unsupervised, computer skills, communication skills, ability to multitask, and company loyalty. Okay. So if we want to put them in order, which one of these are more important than the others? Like the top 3, for example. What would you pick if you would like to hire someone? What qualities you might look for? And for me, for example, communication skills maybe, and computer skills, right? This is like the basics, just like the ABC. Multitasking, because the loyalty, it comes with time, I presume, and the ability to work unsupervised also comes in time. So the person needs time to work unsupervised, right? Okay, let's jump to the next one. So we have a bar chart here that shows all of the skills that we saw right here. Each one of them have a different color, and each one of them is compared to 3 years. So take some time to look at the bar chart and the statements, and then we will do the true or false when it comes to the statement, the representation of. About the first statement. It says there is a period of 15 years between the oldest data and the newest data. Is it 15 years between the 1990s and the 2015?
I think it's more than 2.
Yeah, exactly. So it's false. In 2015, company loyalty is not as important as it was in 1990s. So we're talking about the purple bar. So they're saying was not important in 2015 versus 1990s.
It's true.
Yes, it's true. Yeah. Now, next one says, since 2000, the need for computer skills has increased. So the need of computer skills is the one in green, and you can see that since 2000, it's been a decrease, a huge decrease, a sharp decrease. Okay, so this one is true. The next one, employers in 2015 were looking for people who can work alone and without supervision. So ability to work unsupervised is this one, the teal type of bluish, is we're talking about 2015, so we go here and then we go to the teal one. So they're looking for people who can work alone and without supervision.
I think it's false.
We're looking for people who can work alone and without. Compared to the other years, yes, but if they just see, that's the problem with this statement. They should compare it to another year just to make sense. That's why you answered for, because the statement itself is insufficient as of the point or the information that it delivers, right? So employers in 2015 were looking for people who can work alone and without supervision. I mean, all of them will. So this one is really gonna be neutral, honestly. Yes, it's there, but in all of the years they're looking for the same thing. But if they said in 2015 they were looking more than the other years, or it has increased significantly compared to the 90s and the 2000s, it would be different. But so far it's neutral. It's just giving information without any comparison. There's no proper description. So 25 years ago, computer skills were not very important. So computer skills is the green one. If we say 25 years ago, okay, that's the age gap, or the time gap between 1990s and 2015. today, almost all employers are looking for these skills. So this one is, what do you guys think? It's a comparison. So it's true, right? So if we go to 1990s and we go to the green one versus 2015, it's really a significant change, right? Let's go next. Here's actually okay. It says the article starts with a statement that describes the graph in words. In the next graph, the writer mentions the main points that you can find from the data. So he said that the introduction is basically very just a description. It's they're describing what the title is and exactly the years and the axis, the X and the Y axis. Very basic. And then they start to mention and compare the points. The first question says, in contrast, links two sentences. So the expression in contrast, it's like black and white. Okay, so you have to give differences between two data. Does the author use in contrast to describe similar things or different things based on the author? So in contrast is here, if you are just wondering. This is right here. Company loyalty was seen as considerably less valuable at the end of the 25-year period, while the importance of communication skills remains stable. Okay, while I was reading, I'm just looking at company loyalty, honestly. So did he consider talking about two different things or the similar things? Different things, right? So when we say contrast, we define and describe different things. The second one is, it is common to describe data using the passive voice. The passive voice, you emphasized on the object. So you do not emphasize on the doer of that verb. Okay. As a result, or as an example, it's here. The company loyalty was seen. So this example, there's no subject really, but it gives a highlight over the object, which is the company loyalty. That's the only one that we got as a passive one. So company loyalty was seen as considerably less valuable. Okay. You don't need to do that for your assignment, but because we have a full class for passive voice and stuff like that. Okay, essential skills for employers. That's the second part. The second part also described is without looking at the graph. It's because they focus more about the words in the descriptions. The first question says, the writer uses different ways to describe increase. Can you find two other verbs with a similar meaning to increase?
Raise.
Yes.
Raise.
Yes.
Raising.
Yes. Raising. What else?
Yes. And raising in the last paragraph, I think.
Yeah, raising. And there's another one.
Oh.
Okay. The second question says the adverb slightly appears in the first sentence. Why does the author use this adverb? What about the adverb dramatically? So the writer says or used slightly. Why he didn't say dramatically? That's basically.
He means slowly, I think.
Yes, means exactly. Slightly, it means just a little change. Slow change, a little change. Dramatically means that there's a lot or considerable change. So
The
dramatic.
opposite of yes.
More
Opposite.
than, yeah. So here we have dramatically, but we also, the writer also used slightly, but they want really to know why it appears on the first sentence slightly here. Okay, slightly. Okay. Next one, there is some extra information in the article that is not in the graph. Can you find 2 examples? So this exercise is without looking at the graphs, just like that. They say with many employers right here, with many employers commenting that the ability to work remotely as well as independently is more important than ever before. So this one is an addition that the writer adds. And also here. This is despite the fact that recent research shows that focusing on one task at a time actually makes employees far more productive. Okay, so this one is also an addition. It doesn't have like a straight relation to the graph. So extra info. The last question. Why does the author use the expression "it comes as no surprise"? What does the author think the reader already understands from looking at the data?
I think he means there's no change.
Yeah, and he means that in the article that he suggests that the information is just general knowledge, like it's common sense for him. And that question number 1 says the opposite of increase is decrease. Which verb does the author use to show a decrease?
He used it had fallen.
Yes, had fallen. Exactly. So the verb is fall. Good job. All right. The next one, which sentence or which percentage did not change over the 3 periods? And what verb does the author use to show this? Which percentage did not change?
The percentage is 80%. And the verb is remain.
Yes, exactly. Great job. Great job, Afin. The next one, the author provides extra information about the change in communication. Why? Okay. He says that the data has not changed, but the communication, the way that they communicate has changed. Okay, so it's not really the data that's affected, it's the way that they communicate is different. The fourth one, the author writes that employers valued company loyalty. Can you explain what value means?
Something important.
Yes, exactly. Great job. So the meaning is, they want just the meaning is to value. So the meaning is to consider important or useful, as Aveen answered. Okay.
Thanks for watching.
So this
Make
one,
sure to like and subscribe for more videos.